I'd say probably the hardest part about bringing this character to life is that he's nothing like me. He's fat. He's ridiculously grumpy. He doesn't he doesn't care for dancing or anything really besides his family, which I can actually relate to.
I think the hardest thing about bringing the script to life is there's a few factors. Like every single time you start working with a new cast, everybody has to get used to working with each other because there's the people who have already worked with each other and then there's all the people coming in. And working into that big group and getting everybody together is sometimes kind of hard, but I'm really happy with this cast because I feel like we've pulled it together. The second hardest thing about bringing the script to life is I don't think that I'm like my characters. Like, I'm not gonna try completely tear your dreams apart, I promise. But it's kind of challenging. Like, I love taking on the bad guy characters because it's a character role and they're the funnest to play because of just the dynamics and everything that they do. But, you know, it's hard to play the bad guy sometimes because I'm not sure how to portray that. And so it's been a good challenge to go through that. So
It's all really a matter of adding your own personal flair to the character.
So what's challenging about bringing the script to life is that I guess I'm like a comedic character. So I have to do things that are funny. And it's really hard because I'm not allowed to smile on stage, ever. That's my characters. I'm so grumpy. And so I'll say something funny or do something funny with my family or something like that, and I'll like burst out laughing. And it's like a disaster because I'm not allowed to laugh or smile on stage.
I wanted to be in this production of Cinderella because I've always been in love with theater, and this is my senior year, and I feel like it would be kind of wrong of me not to do a musical.
Cinderella is a production that I have loved since I was very little, and even just enjoying the magic of the Disney film that was so special to me as a child, and going to Disney, because as a person I am a very Disney lover person, so being involved in this production is something I wanted to do, not only to have another experience to be in a show because I love performing, but being able to bring to life this show again, because I was in it in 7th grade, so ending my high school career in theater with this is such an honor, and I'm so excited for it.
I wanted to participate in this production just because I love the theater. I love the singing, I love the acting, I love the people. That's really probably the biggest reason. I love being around the people that participate in theater. It's just such an amazing environment and such an amazing community just to be part of something.
Okay, so I wanted to do Cinderella because it was also the first show I did, so I thought it'd be really fun to have it also be one of the last shows I did with school, so that was part of it for me. There's also a lot of sentimental value with it, so yeah.
I've wanted to be in the musical because I've had a great experience in the past. I've done it all 3 years throughout high school, and it's just been really fun and just amazing.
The techs have put a lot of work into the set pieces this year, and they look really good. There wouldn't be a show without them.
I always say that the best night to come is one of the ones in the middle, because then everyone's kind of already performed once, so there's not the extra nerves, and then there's also not the feelings of kind of sadness that come with closing night. So I always say one of the middle ones is best.
I think closing night would definitely be the best night to come watch us perform. Everyone will be putting their all into it, and it'll be very emotional.
That would be me. Bree made it, Brianna Summons, and it transforms into the ball gown, and it's magical.
I'd probably say Cinderella. It's an incredibly or Abby. It's an incredibly beautiful costume. It was made actually by Bree, the costume designer, or costumer in the show, and the fairy godmother's costume as well is just amazing. The transformation is really, really cool.
Well, that answer's obvious. It's Abby. She's Cinderella.
I would say Cinderella has the best ball gown, and the dress made for Godmother was made by her dad, and that is so cool. It's really pretty. The person most like their character in the show is probably Ari McBride. She plays the fairy godmother, and she honestly is my real life fairy godmother. She's like helped me pick out like prom dresses and stuff like that. So yeah, she's a real life fairy godmother.
Who I think is most like their character, I'm gonna be a little biased, but I'm gonna say myself, because I know that fairy godmother is this person who grants wishes, and I especially with our dear Cinderella Abby, it's something that a relationship that we've had together of I went with her to pick out her prom dress, and being able to be that for her again in this type of environment and performing together and singing with her on stage is how I think I'm the most like my character. And if not myself, I'm gonna have to say Brennan. Little interesting, but we love Brennan. I think he's the most like his character because he does have that princely vibe to him, and he does try to be nice to everybody, and he is an SBO, so having that princely royal vibe to him is what is already naturally in him.
It's gotta be Ari McBride. She's playing the godmother, and sometimes when she's on stage, I can't tell if she's acting or if she's just saying what she would say. That's how alike they are. It's crazy.
I would definitely say Ari as the fairy godmother. She is 100% her character.
So Ari is definitely the most like her character of the godmother. That's just like who she is. It was so funny when she got cast in that role. All of her friends came up to her and they were like, "This is like who you are anyway." It's so funny. So she just like acts like that constantly. So when she's on stage, there's like not even a ton of difference. She does like do magic, of course, but it's super fun.
The king, Kyle, is just like Kyle. Kyle is the king. He is the exact same person. He acts just like him. He knows all the lines by heart. It's amazing.
I'd say Kyle, who's the king, is the most like his character. He kind of just runs around and goofs off on stage, and that's pretty much normal for him. So, yeah.
Person who is the least like their character is Michaela Page. She plays the stepmother, and she is very much not evil or ugly. She is very kind and not that, so.
I'm going to have to say Michaela, who is playing our stepmother, and Kyle, who is playing our king. Our king is meant to be a very large in stature being in this way and not height. And Kyle is very tall in height, but he is probably the skinniest bug person you've ever met. As for our dear sweet Michaela, she's sweet, as I already said. She's not mean or vile or angry. She's just a bundle of light, and she would never hurt a fly. And so seeing her in this kind of light's a little funny to me, watching her on stage, and it just shows that she's such a good actor.
That's gonna be Sage and Eva. They are the stepsisters, and they are the kindest, sweetest people imaginable. So to see them on stage being, well, brats, it's hilarious.
So I would say that I am the least like my character, mostly just because, like, I rarely stop smiling, and on stage I'm never allowed to smile. Like, it is forbidden. The closest thing I can get is like this like frown smile thing that looks kind of like that. It's like really stupid. So for me, I am not like a generally grumpy person, so playing this character is really interesting. But she is a perfectionist, so that makes it somewhat easier to be like her, because I'm very much a perfectionist as well.
I think everyone is pretty much, they have a big part of their character in them, and that's why they're able to play it so well. I think the least like their characters of stepsisters, because they're not mean, like, at all. They're really nice, and they're bubbly and they're fun, so.
For me, I try to be a very elegant person, and the fairy godmother, how I've decided to play her is, she's very funny, yet when she does something that I won't spoil for you all, she becomes this very sensible person, and you see the more regal side of her. And for me, that's a lot of what I try to portray as a person. But I do have my fun, silly side, making fun of the funny things that my friends say when they stumble over their words, and trying to be silly and bring a lightheartedness to our conversations. As for the differences, I do have a little bit of different. I'm not as wise as she is, nor as old as she is, but we're not playing her as old as she really is. But that's a different story that you get to find out for yourself.
I would say I am not like the queen. She is very overbearing, and at times I can be like that, but she is way out there. She's scared of a lot of things, like being alone, but she's also a lot older, and I'm not that character, so I think that's what separates me from her.
The thing that I love most about Cinderella is probably like how imaginative she is, because I probably couldn't like come up with all those like different characters that she loves to imagine that she is right on the spot like she does. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I've loved Fairy Godmother for many years, starting with Disney's classic Cinderella and the Fairy Godmother in that. She's kind of a funny, interesting woman who's a little playful, yet a little stupid at times. And when I first saw Cinderella, the musical, I fell in love. I loved it, and then I saw it again at Hale Center Theatre, and I fell in love with the way the Fairy Godmother was played, and how the kindness that she had in her heart. You saw that she loved not only Cinderella, but everybody that she was around, and I love how she interacted with the people around her, and the light that she brought to the show, and the hope that she brought to the show. It's magical, for a lack of better term.
I think that he's more than he appears to be. The king might seem like just a grumpy, fat old man on the surface, but I think that underneath, he really loves his family. He loves his son, and he loves his wife, which is why he lets her get away with everything that happens at the ball. Yeah, I think he's really got a kind heart underneath that crusty old mannish surface.
So what I love about my character, she's a jerk. That's not what I love, but it's super funny. So I love how hilarious she is, and I love her relationship with Portia, who's played by Sage, because it's so funny to see us, like, if you're like not totally focused on the scene and you like see us, it's so funny. We're like kicking each other, hitting each other, like messing with each other. And so I kind of love her sister relationship, because I don't have any sisters myself. And then I also love like her perfectionism aspect, that she just like wants everything to go smoothly and be perfect, and she will do anything to make that happen.
I love the queen for being so lovely. She just loves her son and her husband so well, and in her character you can see that she is constantly worrying about them, and she wants the best for them, and she knows her way to manipulate them a little bit, and that is the funnest thing you can think of.
One thing I really love about my character is the way I can kind of play off of other people. I love working with Eva, who plays Joy, because there's just a lot of energy and just fun stuff we can do to bounce off of each other.
What I love about the character of Prince Charming is that he never gives up on his search to find Cinderella and his love for her.
She's very expressive and subtle almost, which is really hard to capture at the same time because she's regal, she's royal, but she also has a lot of emotions that she has to keep pent up and also show at the same time. So that's like the hardest part of playing a royal, is that you have to play both covert and overt at the same time.
I feel like one of the biggest challenges with this role is just like how different I am from this character. This character's supposed to be kind of ditzy and stupid, and I'm kind of not that way, at least I don't think I am. So that's really hard for me to kind of play up not knowing anything, so.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds for sure.
My favorite line of dialogue isn't even in the script. So, Sage, one of our stepsisters, when she's talking to the prince, she says, "You know, I'm a very sagely woman." And the first time I heard it and everybody heard it, they were laughing so hard. It was hilarious.
Okay, so my favorite line from the show is when Michaela, who is playing the stepmother, goes up to the center of the stage and she says, "Our family has always been known for its fascinating women." And then all of us just pose, we're super awkwardly. It's so funny because nobody ever laughs, but we all find it hilarious. So we're all just standing there posing and everyone's just staring at us, and it's so funny. And every time we do that, we get off the stage and we're laughing so hard we're crying. It's my favorite.
40 acres of lettuce.
Someone who's gonna blow the audience away is Sage Kennison. She plays Portia, one of the stepsisters, and she is the one person who it's so hard not to break character in front of her, because she has this really goofy laugh and it's absolutely hilarious. She's gonna, yeah.
I think the characters that are gonna blow the audience away, I think everybody wants to blow the audience away, so I hope that people are blown away by whatever actually ends up happening on stage. But the little girl inside of me knows that every single girl is gonna be blown away when Cinderella transforms into her magic, her gown, and when the stepmother does it too. It's just gonna be fantastical.
I think that the dance number with the chefs and the stewards are gonna blow people away because they worked so hard on it, and their fun little antics that I think people are gonna love that.
I think Ari as the fairy godmother will definitely blow people away. She's very talented and amazing at any role that she performs in.
If I were to play any other character in the show, I would play the king because he likes marshmallows and I also like marshmallows, so.
As much as I love the king, playing the prince would be pretty cool, but Brennan is going to do an absolutely amazing job at it. He's got an amazing voice. He's going to get those steps down. He's going to do just an incredible job.
If I could play any other role in this show, it's a hard question because, you know, every girl always wants to play Cinderella, and I think that would be so fun. And I think one of my dreams in life is to have a transformation dress like she does. So we'll see if that ever happens. But I think it'd be so fun to play the godmother and then the stepsisters, because one of my favorite auditions that I've done is actually using the stepsisters lament for an audition, because there's so much range in them. And it's another character role. It's be as goofy as you can and like take every stupid thing you do 100% serious, because it's gonna crack somebody up. So
I would be one of the stepsisters if I could, because they're so fun and giggly and they're all over the place and they have so much like comedic timing to them. And if you're ever going to be a person to the audience, you want to be that comedic relief. And their personalities are so pinned down but also so abstract that it's this wonderful combination where you can play around with the character. I think that would be fun.
I feel like if I could play any other role, it'd probably be the fairy godmother, because I really like her energy and her spirit and the interactions she has with Cinderella.
I hope that the audience walks away from this show feeling better about the world that they live in, because I know the world that we live in is so hard, and I want to give that joy back to you guys. And if you come see the show, I hope you find peace, and I hope I can give that to you, and not only myself but my castmates. And for the little girls that come to watch it, I hope that you know that you have a fairy godmother in so many different forms, and I hope that I can be one of those and show you that hope is real and dreams do come true. Even in the weirdest of circumstances, they do come true. And there's light, and there's hope, and there's love. You got this, and I hope I can give that to you.
I feel really good about my last musical. Cinderella is actually one of my very favorite shows, and she's my favorite Disney princess. I'm gonna be sad to leave the school and to leave the program, but I feel like this is going to be my best one yet. Even just as an ensemble member, I'm really excited. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it and hoping I don't cry too much at the end.
I've done a lot of musicals here. I think I started back in the dark ages, 2020. Wow, I feel old. But it's all these musicals, they've been a lot of fun. I've made a lot of friends with people I would never talk to in any other means. And it's just been a lot of fun to do this. A lot of inside jokes. Just more love it, it's fun, and it's sad that it's gonna be over. I don't regret a minute I've spent here.
It's really weird, especially since I started my musical career with Cinderella. I was a mouse, and now I'm doing stage tech, and it's a little strange just because it's different. It's a little sad too.
I'm really excited. I've loved musical for a very long time, and I don't know, I'm just loving being in Cinderella.
I think that this is gonna be like, I don't know. Every time I join a musical, at the beginning it's always kind of a little bit slow. But we haven't quite gotten to the part where it really takes off, but during these last weeks, it's usually like the most amazing experience. And this time it's kind of really weird because like all of my best friends are now the leads and are doing the main parts. And I'm like, oh, we are we're the best theater students that the school has right now. And so I don't know, it's just kind of, it's different. It's fun though, so I'm really enjoying it.
People should come see Cinderella because we put a lot of work into this, for one, and also I think a lot of people can relate to the show in one way or another, whether they're the characters or the music or the work that we have put in as a cast. And we just want people to support us in that effort and in that in what we care about. And so yes, come see the show, please, because it's important to us.
This musical is going to be a lot of fun. Just watching the cast, seems like a lot of cast members are having a lot of fun with it they're doing. And I think it's just going to be really funny of what you guys get to see. I think it's going to be one of our best shows we've had in a couple years.
It's a really fun show. We've got a lot of great actors who have put so much talent into this and so much work into this. We've got a lot of really cool set pieces, if I do say so myself. Yeah, just come see it, it's fun.
Alright, so I know a lot of people put a lot of work into this. I know the techies have worked really hard, and so have the actors in memorizing their lines and making sure everything's perfect. So you should come see it just because of the effort that's put into it. It's going to make a great show.
You should come see this show because we all put in a lot of work, especially in this last week and a half, where we all really crack down and spend like all of our time. We don't see the light of day. So like it just becomes an amazing experience, and it's also just an amazing show to come and watch. So I definitely recommend coming and seeing it.
I think that people who are interested in auditioning, or even if they haven't even thought about it, should most definitely audition. I have had so many great experiences. I have been in all 3 of the musicals here at Copper Hills in my time here, and every year I learn something new about myself, about the cast, about the school, about the show, about acting. And I also think that it's a great social and emotional outlet, and that people can learn so much more about the world and about themselves through theater. And so if you're interested, or even if you haven't thought about it, please do the musical. Please join theater. I love you.
For anybody who's thinking about trying out for the musical, do it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There's not many times you'll be able to do musical theater in your life. And a lot of these people you'll meet here will become friends for a long time. And you'll just have a lot of good memories. I don't regret a single minute I've spent doing these musicals.
Alright, so at risk of sounding like a teacher, you actually do make a lot of really awesome friends. Some of my best friends are in musical theater, and it's just a lot of fun. You have fun, so do it.
I know it's kind of a scary process auditioning, but being in the musical is really an amazing thing, and like really getting over the audition is like, that's the hardest part. Once you're in the musical, it's super awesome and you make a ton of friends, so I would definitely recommend it. I did it during my 10th grade year, and I made a ton of friends, and I got brought into the theater again, and it was just a super good time, so definitely recommend it.
So the best thing about being a techie here during the musical is definitely getting the sets where they need to be, because that's very fulfilling, because if we can nail those set changes, it makes my job and everybody else's job way more fun, because we get to hang out and finish building the rest of these sets.
Okay, so the hardest part of my job, just helping out backstage, is actually before the musical started, it was a lot of challenges with construction and just figuring out how to problem solve. And I would say the easiest part, or the funnest part, is seeing how it turns out and just helping people get where they need to be. So if you're interested in doing running crew or anything backstage or with the play, and for future productions, I would say it's going to take a lot of work, it's going to take a lot of time, but the results and spending time with people is a lot of fun.
I think if you want to do tech or run crew, it is a very noble thing to dedicate your time to.